printers. Okay, so we're up to Shin Pei Ches, which is the halachas of a moser. We discussed last week. We started from the Gemaras that the Rambam, the Beis Yosef, and everyone brings down as the source that a moser loses his olam haba. He's lav b'chlal Yisrael. The Rambam says he's not considered a yid, and as we explained, that the reason for that is because there's two ways to sever your relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You could sever your relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu by doing averis and severing your relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly, or you could sever your relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You could sever your relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu by severing your relationship with other yidden. So if you don't, like I was saying that story that there was Pesach Krohn said over a story once that there was a man he had two children and they were fighting. They didn't get along. So so the father called over the children, the boys, to his deathbed basically, and he says to them, I don't want you to say Kaddish for me. I don't want you to say Kaddish for me. So they were pretty shocked. So he says, because if you're not his brother, then you're not my son. So if a Yid goes and is Malshan on Klal Yisrael, so he's aligning himself with the Goyim, so he's not the brother of the rest of Klal Yisrael, so he's not a Kodesh Baruch Hu's child. So therefore he's Lav B'Klal Yisrael. Okay. Now, what we're going to start with next week is going to be the chiyuv moment of a moser. So he gave over information, and because of that information, he was mazik another yid. He caused damage to another yid, that the goyim collected money that wasn't coming to them, or whatever it is. So b'chiyah gavna is he chayiv al tzgarmi, and that's how we got into this. But we're still in the step before. What? If what?
If he's gonna moser.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
Even off moments, yeah?
Even off moments, you're allowed to, yeah.
So if someone wants to be malshin on, let's say, a house in a community that's not doing proper things, you're allowed to kill the person before they're malshin?
Probably.
I have a whole block I could kill.
What? I don't know what proper things means. So we brought two Gemaras that the Gemaras talk about beferish, that if the person's on his way to being raidif, even if it's only atzmaminis, even if it's only a monetary redifa, then he's called a raidif, and since he's called a raidif because he's giving over the money of a yid to the goyim, so therefore the rest of the community can kill this moser. Now, why is that true? Why is that why is he a raidif if he was giving over the money of the yid? So the answer is because once you bring the goyim involved and they start opening up things and they think that now they have jurisdiction over what's going on, it's one thing leads to the other. It's not a good place to be, and therefore Chazal say that it's a roidif. Now, what you asked a question is, what's it negeya to know if someone that's malshin is chayiv to pay money? What's it negeya if he's chayiv to pay money? You're allowed to kill him anyway. So the answer is what we're going to learn now, okay? Which is that's the answer, right? Okay, but before we get to that's a good question. But also, another question that we kept on having is that the Gemara says you're allowed to kill him. He's a roidif, right? We had Gemara in Gittin, we had a Gemara in Bava Kama, and the Gemara in Brachas that all say that he's a roidif. But then we have a Gemara in Avodah Zarah that says Haminim v'Masoyres, famous Gemara, that Hamumarin Moiridin v'Loy Malin. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah Chavav Amud Beis, that you could put him into a bar and not take him out. So, what's that talking about? It sounds like a very indirect way of killing. Let it just say he's chayv misa. There's no such Gemara by a roidif. Roidif, the din is maridin v'lei malin. I mean, why is the Gemara explaining it in such a strange way? If the halacha is he's chayv misa, so say chayv misa like everything else. What's this din of maridin v'lei malin? You put him into a bar and leave him there, and if he's in a bar, don't take him out. it's much more than that. He's Chayiv Misa, he's Chayiv Misa. So we're going to see it's a very big machlokes, Rishonim, Achronim, in how to learn this Gemara, and it's going to play out. It's going to play out, and eventually the answer may answer your question as well. Okay. Okay, and then we said over the Aruch HaShulchan's disclaimer that they may not be discussing our governments from today. Okay, so we got that on the video. Fine. So who exactly? Well, you're asking a different question. If you're moser somebody on something that he's taka not allowed to do, are you allowed? And do you have to pay for that?
Who's the judge on what he's allowed to do, what he's not allowed to do?
It's against the law. It's clearly against the law.
He's building without permits, or he's opening a restaurant, and the restaurant's later.
So Shulchan Aruch says like this. I have it. I printed it out over here. Okay. So it's Sif Tes and Shin Peiches. We have to go back to the first 8 Seifim, but we're going to start with Sif Tes. So it says like this: Asur limsar li Yisrael bi'adakum bein begufay bein b'memoinai va'afilu haya rosho balaveres va'afilu haya mitzar loy meitzer loy mitzaroi. Even if he's causing you tzar, like the Gemara says by Reb Sheila, even if he's causing you tzar, you're not allowed to be malshin on him. Okay. Haga v'davka b'dvarim ba'alma v'lemosroi. If he was moser you, then mutter l'moisroi. Now that he's a moser, you're allowed to kill him back. You're allowed to be moser him back. Darei yochel hargoi. You're allowed to kill him. B'din b'makam sheish chashash yachsev yim serenu. Like we'll see later. Oy im ef shalahatzel atzmai. But that's forget the oy. It's not the right girsa. Im ef shalahatzel atzmai b'derech acher. Aval ef shalahatzel atzmai b'derech acher. Have a kishnaim shemosu zeh v'chom mishiv tzchaver yosef chayv l'sham. So this is an interesting question. Someone who's moser, are you allowed to moser him back? So there are more paskins. You're only allowed to moser him back if that's the only way to stop him. So this could be very shaykh if a person was moser someone's case to our kais. He took a case to court in a way that he's not allowed to. There's a bezdin that could take care of the case, and he took him to court, especially if there's criminal ramifications. Right? But let's even not. So he took him to court, and now essentially he was moser the din of this yid that owes him money to the goyim. So now the shaila is, can he? So can he countersue in court and now bring up other claims against this moser? Especially if the counterclaims have in them criminal. Right? A guy comes in and says he stole from my business. Oh yeah, I stole from your business. Well, I'm gonna tell the judge what you do about your taxes and to the IRS. And if they find out what you did, you're gonna go to jail. I may owe you $500,000, but you're going to jail. So is he allowed to master him back? What?
Counterclaim to defend yourself, you don't need, but for a counterclaim, you need a heter hakos.
So that's what the Rama is saying. The Rama is saying you're only allowed to master him back if there's no other way. If there's no other way to defend yourself. That's what he says. If there's no other way to defend yourself, then you're allowed to master him back. There's a word "oy" here, which all the mafarsh.
You have to bring your case to Beis to show that's the only way you can do it without.
Mistama, no, that's what he means. Mistama, if you're in court, you have to find out if there's another way to deal with this. You shouldn't be the judge of your own. You shouldn't determine this on your own.
Is evicting a tenant considered being a moser?
I'm not sure. It's a complicated question. Pashtus, you should take the case to Bezdin first and let them determine if he deserves to be evicted. If he deserves to be evicted, then they'll allow you to go to court, and then there's no shaila at all. To go straight to the sheriff or something like that without having gone to Bezdin first is not pasha. By the way, just for people to know, is that when a person wants to get a heter arkos, they need to get a heter arkos from a Bezdin on a stationery that's written that says you're allowed to go to a heter arkos. Because what happens? Oh, I spoke to my Rav, he said I could go to court. Oh, really? Can I speak to your Rav? No, I mean, whatever, he basically told it to me, but I would rather you not speak. Well, can he write it? No, he's not going to write it down. So there's no way to verify anything. Anyway, and even if a Rav will write it down, a Rav doesn't really have the jurisdiction to allow you to go to court. It has to be through a Beis Din. So people make this mistake all the time. Oh, I spoke to my Rav and there's no case. I have to go to court. It really has to get a proper heter arkois from Beis Din. But anyway, not every time. Okay, fine. So that's very important halacha, and it's not oi, it's im. Ef shalahatza atzmei b'derech acher, as if there's no other way to save yourself. Why? Because even a roidif is like that. Even a real roidif, if you could stop him without killing him, you have to. So therefore, here also you can only be mastering him back if there's no other way for you to defend yourself. Unbelievable. So that's what we said last week from Moshe. Someone asked him a shaila, wasn't trying to paskin. Safek olam haba l'chumra. So, fine. Now in Sif Yud, he goes ahead and says, Mutar laharoig hamoser b'chol makom afil bizman hazeh. Umutar lahargoi koidem sheyimsar. So it's very important to keep in mind that this chi of misa that we put on the moser is not a punishment. It's a protection. It's midin roidif, that he's running after Klal Yisrael and he's putting everyone in danger. Therefore, you're allowed to kill him koidim sheyimsar, beforehand. Ella k'shaimer hareini moser pleni begufay oy b'mamoinai afilu momun kal hitter atzmei lemisa. But very important, umasrin boy, you have to give him masra. So the Vilna Gaon says, where does Hasra come from? He has a Gemara that even by a roidif itself, you have to give him masra. Even by a roidif itself, you have to tell him, you better stop or we're going to kill you. So a malshin also needs hasra. V'oimim le al timsar v'im heyiz panav. And if he was machtiv with chutzpah to the tzibur v'amar loiki ela emserenu mitzvah lahargoi v'chal koidim lahargoi zacha, because he's protecting Klal Yisrael. Just like it says in Hilchos Shabbos. In Hilchos Shabbos, it doesn't say go look for a guy to protect the Klal Yisrael. Call koidim zacha.
I'm telling that you're I'm an accountant and I know that somebody's cheating on their taxes, and I call the IRS. There's a chiyuv misa. At what point
To stop you.
to stop you from telling him that he has to pay his share?
Well, why?
If I understand, if the tzibur can't have it, that I'm being moser to somebody who doesn't owe money. If I tell the government this guy has money, the government's going to go after him.
Right.
Not bedin.
How do you know he's chayiv on it?
He's not. If he's not chayiv, it's just.
No, how do you know he's chayiv not al pi law? How do you know he's chayiv al pi halacha? You have to know he's chayiv. Okay, but let's say dina dema. You just gave 6 shiurim in a sentence.
Taxes, everybody.
Kimat. So kimat, is that enough to be safek olam haba l'chum? Safek olam haba l'chumra. I'm asking you that is it mutar or aser? Kimat is not enough. I don't think. You have to know. The person has to get a psak that he's permitted to do that. We're going to learn that very soon in a moment. We're going to. It's possible you're chayiv to pay, but not paying is afkas halva, and memela is not a nice thing and all that. But who said that you can enforce that in court? Okay, so now okay. What happens if you don't have time to warn him? Hagavim ein pnai lahasra boy ein tzarich hasra. If there's no chance to give him asra, you don't have to. If it's like a roidif, we know the halacha by roidif is if you could kill him, if you could stop the redifa by shooting him in the leg, you have to. So he says here also, Lashonis over here, he says, right, because over here, by the case when the guy's running after you, so if you shoot him in the leg, he'll stop. He's not coming back tomorrow. But this guy, if you stop him now, he's going to still continue to do it tomorrow. So it's not so clear that there is an eitzah to do it. But he says, cut out his tongue, so he can't talk anymore. It's hagin malshin on you. Or blind him. Also, let's get this in before the video. So loy garam yishar roidef. He's like a roidef. So since he's a roidef, so the halacha is that you could kill him, but if you can't, if you could stop it with something else, yachal atzil becha meivar. Okay.
How do we decide when, let's say, of course, if we cut out his tongue, he can't talk. But if I cut out his tongue, I'm gonna have to do it up close and personal. It's gonna be much more likely I'm gonna get caught.
So it's yefshar. Okay, it's yefshar. It's yefshar. That's called the yefshar mistama. Meaning, if you're gonna have to put yourself in danger to protect him, you're not mechuyev.
If I burn down his house, he'll probably stop. But Lamaisa, there's an arson investigation. It's much easier to accidentally, put him in the canal with bricks on the whole planet. Lunator. Asking for a friend.
Okay, asking for a friend. Okay. Mistama, it's the same thing by a roidif itself. By a roidif itself is also like that. If you're going to have to go and trip him and grab his leg, right, and break his leg in half, you could theoretically, that would stop him, but you can't get to it, so it's not shaykh. Okay, now, there's a few more interesting halachas over here. Sif Yud Aleph says, Asa ha-moser asher zamam. He did it already. So, Asr lahargoi elim kein huchzak limsar. You're not allowed to kill him anymore because the whole thing, he's a roidif, but he did it already. So then, now that he did it, so now you're not allowed to kill him. But then he adds in, elim kein huchzak limsar, unless he's b'chazaka that he's going to do it for something else. He's still really, he's not actively a roidif. So what happens with a guy? The three Gemaras that we have are all talking about active Mesira. The guy says, okay, I'm on my way, and he's sitting there knocking on the governor's door. Okay, so that's active Mesira. Grab him away and do what you have to do. That's Radifa. What happens if the guy did it already? And there's no active problem right now that he's involved in, but this guy's on the lookout. Every time that there's an issue, he's the first guy to go. He wants to score points. The government, whatever his cheshbon is in the Mesira, he's huchzak bekach, which means 3 times he already did such a thing. So what's his status? I mean, he doesn't have Olam Haba, fine, but in Olam Hazeh, what's his status? So you're not supposed to give chesed to him, you're not supposed to do that. Okay, but he's a chai misa. He's a danger to the community still because he's becheskas to be moser. So what's the din of this person? Is it only al roidif, or is there any other? Now again, we don't have bezdin today that could kill, and it's not. We can't bring a chiv misa today. What we could do is we could protect the community. Is this together protecting the community or not? Is this active radifa or not? This is a very, very hard question. So the Shulchan Aruch Lachashin Sharei Yehareg Shema Yimsar Acherim. You should kill him because he may still do it again. What does it mean to kill him? What does that mean?
But you said before that even on Makal
but that's he's doing it now, so you're stopping. But this he's considered right because he's in the middle of doing it, but he did it already. So now what's his status? So if we look over here in Sif Tezvav, go down to Sif Tezvav. Sif Tezvav is like this. It says, Misha Muchzak Shloisha Pamim. This is coming from a Tshuvas Arash. It says, Misha Muchzak Shloisha Pamim Masar Yisrael Oy Mamoinam Biad Akum. He's Muchzak that 3 times he already did Mesira. Mevakshim Eitza V'Tachbula Levare Min Ha'olam. You're allowed to kill him, but it has to be Be'etza V'Tachbula. It has to be a chap. It has to be a way how to do it. And the Ramah explains, Haga Aide Grama. So the Ramah says it's also laharga biyadayim. You're not allowed to kill him anymore biyadayim because he's not actively being roidif. But you're supposed to find eitza v'tachbula how to kill him, either through a guy indirectly, or what's another eitza v'tachbula that's a grama? Stick him into a pit. So says the Rosh, that Gemara in Avodah Zarah that says Maridin v'loy malin on a moser, that you put him into the pit and you don't take him out, is because it's only a grama. And since it's only a grama, you're supposed to do it indirectly. Why? Because he's not doing the Mesira right now. It's talking about the guy who has the title. He has the title moser because he's muchzak b'kach. He's done it in the past, but he's not actively involved in Mesira right now. So therefore, this guy, get rid of him, but don't kill him biyadayim. So you're allowed to put him in a bar and let him rot over there. But you're not allowed to kill him biyadayim. Shaila is, are you allowed to give him over to Goyim? This is Machloikes, Yesh Shlichus La'akum, Ein Shlichus La'akum. Machloikes, the Shach brings down from the Marshal, that the Marshal held that putting him in a bar is better than killing through Goyim. Others said, no, killing through Goyim is better than putting in a bar. Okay, but the point is, it's supposed to be indirect, whatever is called indirect. Okay, now, the Shach goes and jumps on this. I didn't print the Shach, but the Shach jumps on this. And the Shach says, I don't understand. In Sif Tezvav, we're talking about a guy that did it in the past, and it says, and he paskins like this Chuvas Harash, that if he did it in the past, and he's not doing it right now, but he could do it at any moment, because we don't know if he did Tshuva, and it sounds like he's still this bad guy, then kill him Aide Grama. But in Sif Yud Aleph, that we just read, it says, Asa Kasher Zamam, if he already accomplished his Mesira, so Asa Lahargai, Elim Kain Huchzak, but if he's Huchzak, sounds like Yesh Lahargai, the same way as the regular moser. So in Sif Yud Aleph, he seems like he's paskening the way the Shach says it, like Roiv Rishonim, Rambam, Smag, other Rishonim, that all say that once he's Huchzak to be a moser, Ein Lechelik Lamabon, you're allowed to kill him, even be a dime. So why in Sif Tezvav is he paskening? It's only begrama. So it's a steer over here in the Shulchan Aruch, according to the Shach, and the Shach paskins like the Rambam, which is the Pashtas of Sif Yud Aleph, that even if it's not active Mesira, but he is a moser, you're allowed to kill him, be a dime. So what's the Gemara saying? Moridin v'lei malin. So the Shach says, v'hodim moridin v'lei malin, that the Rosh says that dafka moridin v'lei hargim be a dime. No, who are din hargim be a dime? Ella moridin heicha de'i efshel hargim. Not that you're not allowed to kill him, so therefore moridin. It's giving you practical advice. That the pshat is sometimes, like Avram said, maybe it's not so convenient to be actively involved in Ritzicha B'Yadayim because of a lot of reasons. So it may not be so shaykh to do it. So Meridin V'Lei Malin, you figure out a way to do it, like
So they're saying to hire a guy?
What?
You're saying to hire a guy?
You're allowed to. Yeah, according to the Shach, you're allowed to. Yeah, according to the Shach, you're allowed to hire a guy and finish this guy off. But the Gemara is saying that oftentimes, if there's no real way to do this, then Marid and V'lei Malin, then you put him into the bar, and that's it. Okay? So this is a very interesting machlokes. What happens if he's not actively involved, but he's still considered a moser? So we're saying that it's machlokes. The Ramah sounds like you should kill him in the grama, and the Shach paskins that you can kill him be a dime. Okay, I don't know what you do in machlokes Shach and Ramah when it comes to killing someone that may not have a din to be killed. I'm not sure, but kol kodim zacha. So okay, now about what that's the machlokes here. About if he's moser, he's not moser. He's a moser, but he's not actively being moser. Now, what the Olam wanted to know, what you keep on asking, so there is a Ramah over here. Let's try to learn this Ramah, because I think this is going to answer some of your questions. Obviously, every case is not la halachal ma'isa, So, but it says like this: Sif Yud Beis, Kol hamoser hatzibur u'mitzaron. What if someone is causing tsar to the tzibur, causing pain, anguish, frustration to the tzibur? Mutar l'moser b'yad akum. You can give him over to the goyim l'hakoisait u'la'asrei l'konsai. I don't know what tsar means, but he's causing tsar to the tzibur. However, mipnei tsar yochid also l'moser. If he's just bothering one or two people, you're not allowed to. Okay. Now the Ramah says a halacha over here. In the Ramah in Sif Yud Beis, Haga, mi she'oisek b'ziyufim. Misha Oisek B'ziyufim. This guy's a counterfeiter. So what does it mean, counterfeiter? I don't know. I guess it means that he gives out fake coins. People come for coins. He changed coins and gives them fake coins. And you know that this guy is giving out fake coins. Yeah. V'yesh lachush, and there's a concern. Sheyazik rabim. That he'll be mazik a lot of people. Masrin boy. We have to tell him to stop. And if he doesn't stop, you're allowed to be moser this guy. loymar she'ein acher misasik boy, and tell the government he's the only guy doing this. Ela zelavad, only this guy by himself. What does he mean?
What's the case here? He's already swindling from people?
Yes.
Counterfeiter, so the government's going to find out. They're going to kick all the Jews.
The way Rabbi Leiter said it is that we're concerned that he's going to swindle from people.
No.
He's a counterfeiter. If the government finds out he's a Jewish counterfeiter,
He's already
Now,
swindling and
yes.
he's not swindling. He's a counterfeiter. Counterfeiters are not
He's
swindlers.
that's I don't know. Tells it again, but he's putting fake money.
Fake money. So the government's going to find out about it. The government's going to kick all the Jews out.
Right. So this guy, you're allowed to be. You have to tell him to stop. If he doesn't stop, then
If he doesn't stop, it means he continues doing it.
I don't know. His store is still open. I don't know if he. The point is, there's no way to stop him by warning him. So this guy's a roidif, and since he's a roidif, you're allowed to moser him. Now, first of all, it's a very interesting gra. The gra says, I mean, he's a roidif, but he's not really trying to be roidif. He's not like a regular moser. He's not like a regular guy that's giving over, a bad information to the government. He's doing his business, but by doing his business, he's putting a kalais on sakana. So Zok the Goin, the Vilna Gross says Geshmak. He says, you see from the famous case in the Gemara Sanhedrin, that a roidif doesn't have to have kavana to kill the person. What's the case? The Gemara talks about an uber b'me'ei imoi. If you have a baby, you have a baby, and the baby is, if the mother continues, basically the mother's in danger. The mother's life is being put in danger by the baby. So the way to save the mother's life is by terminating the pregnancy to save the mother's life. So Zakt the Gra. So you see from there that the baby is not b'kavana to try to kill the mother, but that alone that the baby is putting the mother's life in danger makes him a roidif. And therefore you see that roidif has nothing to do with kavana. So that's the first point the Gra says, Geshmaka point. That,
Is there a huge difference in that case?
what's the difference? Va'av she'ena rak grama.
That in halacha, a human life is different before it's born and after it's born? We value a human life that's post-birth.
That's only because after they're born, afterwards, the way the Reb Chaim explains that is that because afterwards we don't know who's the roidif. The mother's also being roidif of the baby. Only one of them can live. So therefore, that's only to determine that we consider the baby the roidif, not the mother. But the point is that's not the lumdus over there. The lumdus over there is that until the baby's born, then the mother's more chashuv, so therefore we consider the baby the roidif and not the mother. And once the baby's born and yatsa roishay, now they're both a roidif on each other. That's the point. But
the baby's not called an neshama until it's born.
I understand, but the same roidif is chal with by
becoming a
Woman
neshama,
who's
then
at
they're
full term,
equal.
and the doctor said we can save one of them, we can't save both of them.
that's a separate sugya.
Over Moshe, where the two
Siamese twins, right? No, I'm saying because there we don't know who's the roidif. That's why. But either way, the shame roidif doesn't require kavana. That's you see from the whole Gemara. That's a gross point. The shame roidif does not require kavana. So and even a roidif aidei grama. Even a roidif aidei grama. Why? Because he says the whole case when you give over money, like you asked right away, if you're giving over money, why are you a roidif? Because it's grama. Once you're giving over the money, then they're going to end up going, even though you didn't give over a life of a yid, but it's called roidif aidei grama. So he says this guy's a roidif. Now, there's a big machloikes over here between a Moshe.
That's not born is considered a roidif aidei grama. It makes more sense to have an example of a living human that's considered a roidif.
I'm saying if the shame roidif requires kavana, then the whole sugya wouldn't start. That's the point of the gra. So now like this. The shaila is this mizayif over here. What is the redifa? What is the sakan over here? Why is he being roidif klal Yisrael? What's the issue? Is the issue because he's stealing money from everybody and we have to stop him? So that's one way to learn. One way to learn is that alone, that he's taking everyone's money, so he's pushed a sakana to the tzibur, be'etzem. He's a hazard to the tzibur, he's a michshol to the tzibur, and therefore you're allowed to remove him. You're allowed to remove him from the tzibur. But then the whole shame has nothing to do with being a roidif. He's not really a roidif. It's a separate halacha that if a person is, who's asking me? Tsar the tzibur. So he's a hazard to the tzibur. He's a michshol to the tzibur, and you're allowed to get rid of him. That's how some poskim learn it. And they say, according to that, someone that you can have a lot of cases that fall under that. Okay, that someone's a sakana to the tzibur. The way Rav Moshe learns it from the sources, from the tshuva, that's the source of this thing, the source of this Ramah, the way Rav Moshe learns it is that he's a sakana to the tzibur because, someone else mentioned this, he's a sakana to the tzibur because if the government finds out, they're going to be angry at the entire tzibur. They're not just going to be angry at this guy, and they're going to assume, oh, this is the Jews are at it, and this is a Jewish problem. It's not about this guy, and then they're going to go, because of this, go after all the Yidden. So he's actually putting everyone in sakana directly. So by us handing him over, and that's the mashmois of the Ramah, because the Ramah says, look in the lashon of the Ramah, he says, that there is nobody else doing this. It sounds like that was the issue. The issue is that the goyim are going to think that this is, everybody's doing this. And therefore, if they find out that the community is behind this guy, there must be that they don't care, and there's a lot of people doing this, and they're trying to undermine the government, and they're counterfeiting money, and this is really bad, and therefore they're going to put everyone in danger. So what do? No, we tell them this guy's not with our ratzon. We don't approve of such behavior. And adrabah, we're handing him in. We're handing him over. So by doing that, we're protecting the tzibur. Not that we're protecting the tzibur from this guy's activities. That's not the point. The point is we're protecting the tzibur from the allegations of the government against the whole tzibur because of this person.
You need both factors. That number one, the government's going to assume it's the whole tzibur, and number two is that they're going to believe you that it's this guy. If either of those aren't the case,
because then you're not saving them. Right. You're not saving anybody by handing this guy in.
So I mean, if there's no good reason to believe that the government's going to say this is a Jewish issue, then who cares that he's scamming the entire community?
Right.
Let him be.
Basically, according to him, he's not a roidev. According to Rav Moshe, not let him be. But Rav Moshe says he's not a roidev that you can do mesira.
In Sifyat Beis, it doesn't say that you're moser him only lahakoisoy. You're not guilty. The mesira in Sifyat Beis is different than the other mesiras. In Cyrus and Tzibur, the shloshon of Panarch is la'koisa. You're not giving him to Bezdin. You're not giving him to the Akam to kill. There's two levels.
Oh, so maybe this guy only gives the counterfeit money to the goyim. Maybe you were asking, maybe he's mitzvah the maybe he's not. I don't know the case exactly. Maybe he's only giving the counterfeit money over to the goyim. So really, he's not posing any sort of issue for the tzibur. But if this guy is taking all Jewish money, and he's making a Ponzi scheme or something, and he's taking only all Jewish money, because the only people that trust him is his shvagers and his shvagers. So then maybe that falls under Yosef Yud Beis, under the ratio of the Sif. Okay, fine.
It's not the regular mystery.
Okay, but jail, maybe putting the guy in jail is la'akoisai.
You're giving him to courts to get killed.
I know, but I'm saying, but today, maybe that's what that is. You're putting him in jail. I don't know if that's more than that.
Levels of Mesira.
Right, I'm saying is that you're pointing out that there's a broad heter in Yud Beis if he's being mitzayer the tzibur. So first of all, I don't know what's called a tzibur. He took money from 30 people. Is that the whole tzibur? I don't know. I mean, he could continue doing it, right? So I don't know. I don't know. But it's not a raya from.
No, in Sifyat Beis it doesn't say you're giving him. It only says la'koisai.
I know, but. In today, that's what that is.
So the counterfeiter also is only going to get jail. He's not going to be put.
Mistama. So maybe that counterfeiter was not giving it to the Jewish people. He was only giving it to the goyim. So it wasn't being mitzvah that tzibur. He was just putting us in danger. He's putting in danger because they're going to suspect that it's a Jewish business and there's other Jews involved in this. Now there's a big nafkamina between the two pshatim, which is basically, if someone is putting the tzibur in danger directly, do you give him over? And the answer is most poskim say, of course you do, because it's not worse than what it says in Sifyat Beis. And therefore, anytime that someone is putting the tzibur in danger in any way, then obviously there's arkois, you have to speak to Bezdin and whatever, but the point is, theoretically, after you cross your T's and dot your I's and you go through the process of asking whoever you have to ask, l'chayr the halacha would be that they're allowed to, because to protect the tzibur, it's permitted. Okay, so that would fall under Sif Yud Beis. Now, what you were asking, David, about your other question, that's a shtickle, the end of the Ramah Yud Beis. The end of the Ramah here says, Misha roitza livroyach v'loy l'shalim la'akum mashachayev. He owes money, and he's chayev the money, it sounds like. But he wants to run away and not pay it. V'acher gila hadavar. And someone else told the authorities that this guy's running away, he owes you money. Ein loy din moser. He's not called the moser. Sharei loy hifsidoi. He's not making him lose money. Rak shehutzach l'shalem mashachayev. You're just forcing him to pay what he really owes.
Could be worse.
Mikol makayim, 1 second. Bira'a asa. It's what he did is incorrect. He's not supposed to do that. Da'ava kimeshev aveda la'akum. Because it's like meshev aveda la'akum. They don't know about it. Why are you getting involved? V'im garam lehezek, and if because of the Masira, now he has to pay more than what he was really chayiv al pidin, because they found him on other things, or they just made up other allegations, then chayiv l'sham l'machshigarim, then you have to pay everything else. You have to pay the extra. But you don't have to pay for what you're making him pay that he owes. So now, does that mean you're allowed to? So that's not clear. The Ramaz Masha, you're not allowed to do this. It's not actually called Masira, but it's not a good practice.
Is the money that he owes al pi halacha or al pi civil law?
It sounds like Api halacha. Well, money that you owe a piece of a law, like David was saying, it might not be pashtas. You owe it also Api din, but that's a whole separate sugya. But it means money that he owes Api halacha. If he's supposed to pay it, he owes the money, then you're not supposed to hand him over. Bira'a asa, it's not correct, but you don't have a shame moser. Okay, and the Gra says why is it not right? Zok the Gra, the hafkas halvasa mutter, because technically he owes the money, but technically he doesn't have to pay it. So therefore, I mean, so he's going. So you shouldn't do it. Now, Zakta Gram Mikamakam Hainu B'Makam Deleka Chil Hashem. If by him running away, there's no Chil Hashem. If there's going to be Chil Hashem involved, a whole different story. And L'maisa, at the end of the day, no one actually ends up getting away with it. People think they can get away with it. No, you don't get away with it in the end. So it's bound to become a Chil Hashem at some point. And therefore, it's not. Pashtus, what the guy did is incorrect, and it could be he is putting it's like the beginning of the simon. It could be anybody doing that stuff is putting everyone in danger, because it puts the whole community in bad light, because people do tend to lump everything together. So you have to know exactly how to take this part of the simon. But basically, if the person's chayiv money, it sounds like being mastering him is not officially masira. It's not a good practice. And you're not chayiv to pay for what he has to end up paying if he owes it.
What if everyone does it?
What?
What if everyone does it? Like, also, a certain practice that's not.
It's mummin or like?
No, meaning mummin, meaning something. Let's say that counterfeiting was something that a lot of people did, but there's a concern that if they find out that the Jewish person did it, meaning they'll come down harder.
There's difference between things that are related to money and things which are related to civil practice, like building without like building and permit or driving laws and stuff like that. Things like that are there to protect the tzibur, and therefore, if everybody in the tzibur does that, then maybe it's different. Money is money, so the government has a right to make rules about money, and you have to follow them. It doesn't make a difference if it's accepted to steal. That doesn't help. If it's accepted that you go 5 miles over the speed limit, then the whole point of the law is that they're being shlichim on behalf of everybody to create some sort of society that works. So if everybody agrees that they don't mind going 5 miles over, so then maybe it's different, right?
What if there's a whole bunch of counterfeiters in the community? Meaning, and the concern is just that they might hate the Jews more than everyone else. So
Well, but it's not accepted practice. It's not an acceptable practice.
But it doesn't make him the only person doing it.
Yeah, but if it doesn't make a difference. The issue is, like you're saying, how are they going to react? Okay, I think we pretty much got to the points that we have to get to. Yeah. Oh, interesting. One other is the last Ramah over here in Sif Tezvav. It says, Misha Shalach Shliach Limsar. You didn't do the Masira yourself. You made a Shliach to do the Masira. Ima Shliach Huchzak Lasais Chayv HaMashalchai. If the Shliach is Muchzak that he's going to do it, then the Mashaleach is Chayv. Ve'ein loymar Shliach Dvar Vera Hoyel v'Huchzak Bekach. Since he's going to do it for sure, you don't say Ein Shliach Dvar Vera. So, Ruvain sent a Shliach to be Malshin on Shimon. So, he's going to say, well, Ein Shliach Dvar Vera, I'm not a moser. So it says, you don't say in shlech dvar on that if the guy that you hired to do the malshinus is muchzak b'kach. So you know he's going to do it. So since you know he's going to do it, so you don't say in shlech dvar. So the shach says, gets into holomdus. What do you mean? In shlech dvar divrei rav divrei tam divrei meishoymin, and who said huchzak b'kach is different. And if you hire someone to cut your son's payas and he's for huchzak b'kach, now all of a sudden the halacha changes. And where do you find that? And he gets into holomdus about that. It's not true. You still say in shlech dvar. Okay, but the Chassam Sofer, which is, I didn't understand the whole shach, but then I see the Chassam Sofer said that, so I was reading. The Chassam Sofer says on that there's no shaykhis. It doesn't mean ein shlach dvar like a din shlichus. The point is that you got someone that you knew was going to do it, and then that's gufa masira. It's not shlichus. That is the masira. Is that you went ahead and you found someone that's going to hand over Shimon to the authorities. It doesn't make a difference if you did be a dime. There's no din mitzvah shebagufay on this. The point is that you gave him over. That was the method you used to give him over. You found someone that's very good at this, and you used him and hired him. So therefore, you're not allowed to be. It's not this. According to the Chassam Sofer, this is not a din. This is not an affair that it's like achilas chaylev, like shekeinena. This is not about you have to do it with your guf. Okay, this is about you getting the authorities involved, and it doesn't make a difference how you did it. And Mamela, it would be a problem regardless. Okay, so that's the end of the siman and the isurim involved and the chiv misa, etc. What we're going to start next week in Mitzvah Shem is going to be the chiv mammon. It's going to be the chiv mammon of a moser, which regardless of the iser, if he did it already, does he have to pay? And will the bezdin make him pay? And we'll see how that. It's a very complicated geshmak sugya. Okay, shkoyach.
You also see, we didn't do this inside. It's very last halacha. It's very fascinating. The whole city.